We promised you KISS. We've got Paul Stanley here, and Gene's not feeling well, so I'm filling in for Gene Simmons.
The way you look right now, I feel like I'm here with Gene.
Yeah.
This is the next best thing.
There we go. I'm here. But I got to tell you, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping by. We really appreciate this. Thanks for hosting the Power Hour, and they want to thank you, too. What about it, guys?
Loyal fans. You know, as much as I like Much Music, and I really do, I always get the feeling that Much Music doesn't like me as much as I like them, because the only time we ever get any time on the air here is when we're in town. People, make sure that you write, make sure that you call. You need more KISS. Why is it just when we're here? I like being here.
I fight the same battle for you, Paul.
I would fly up here.
I fight the same battle. It's only on my show do KISS ever get played, and you guys are the most. I gotta tell you, the most requested band that we have is KISS. We get stuff like this. This guy sent us this from This is KISS's #1 fan in Northern Ontario, Zachary and Kathy, and we get stuff like this all the time.
It's wild.
I mean, this is just a small sample. We get booklets written about you guys. So what we're going to do is, we've asked you for a list of some of your favorite current videos and things you want to see and things you want to talk about.
Yeah.
But what we've also done is we've assembled clips from all the times you have been in here.
Oh, that's great.
And we're going to talk about those clips.
That's great, because when you see these clips, then you'll understand why they don't play us more often. Right now, there's somebody in the control booth going, cut to a clip, cut to a clip.
Which monitor did we get those on, Terry? Let's see clip #1, shall we?
I don't think you should ever take yourself so seriously that you're really in awe of what you're doing. You know, I mean, what we're doing, we're just a bunch of guys from New York City who have a lot of fans who are behind us.
Right.
And we do what we do, and I think we do it well.
Yeah, I think you've been doing a great job at delivering the product, which is KISS material.
You know, this isn't 4-star cooking. This is Burger King, and with us, you have it your way. You know, you don't want tomatoes, you don't get the tomatoes.
Right. And there's a lot more people out there that eat at Burger King than eat at 4-star restaurants.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, we're a people's band. We've never tried to be a critics band. If I was going to paint the Sistine Chapel, I'd do it with a roller. You know, I'm not a fine artist, folks.
So as a people's band, do you still feel you are a people's band?
Well, we're people, you know. I mean, the fact is that most of the time what happens is that when rock stars become like these big, when their heads get too big, what happens is they go run off to the hills and they have butlers and mansions, and what happens then is they don't know how to write about rock and roll, because rock and roll is about these people. Rock and roll is about walking the street, doing the same kind of things everybody else does. When you start singing about, you know, my butler's got the flu or the rolls broke down, then you're in trouble. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. I play music. I love what I do. That's why I'm here. That's why we're here in Toronto. And hopefully we're going to do a bunch more shows, and we'll bring the whole big show up to town, which is not here this time, but we will be bringing it in.
So what are we going to get this time when we go see you with Whitesnake and with Slaughter and stuff? What are we going to get?
Well, you're going to get a lot of amplifiers. You're going to get as many songs as we can cram in. We're doing a lot of the old stuff and the new stuff. We're doing everything from Deuce and I Stole Your Love, Black Diamond, Love Gun, Shout It Out Loud. We're doing as much stuff as we can. However, as of last week, it became clear to us that this wasn't our show or even a co-headlining show, because we were suddenly being told what we could do and what we couldn't do. And being good-natured fellows that we are, we figured since we were coming to Canada and we wanted to play for our fans, we wouldn't let somebody else's ego get in the way of our playing.
Yeah, I'll tell you, because we get a lot of calls from people who are pretty bummed out they're only doing Toronto, like Montreal phone and Calgary phone. Will you come back and do like the full KISS show?
Yeah, what we're planning to do is come back with the whole show, because the show that we're touring the States with right now is, that's right, you want to see it, right? They want to see it. It's a 40-foot Sphinx. The mouth opens up and we come through the mouth. We're on stage over 2 hours.
Wow.
We're doing 23 songs. It's the biggest pyro and laser show we've ever done. It's the biggest show KISS has ever done. Unfortunately, that's not what we're doing tomorrow night, but I guarantee you, when we leave the stage, you will remember us.
Okay, listen, you're going to be here for the full hour, and you're going to be the VJ here with me.
I'm not a VJ. You're doing such a great job here.
You're doing a fabulous job. You were born to do this.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, I didn't want to insult you. Okay, these are the first two. We're going to play Heaven's on Fire and Winger. Let's talk about them before we play them.
Sure. Well, why don't you tell me about him, Gene?
Gene?
In case you just tuned in, we're here with Gene Simmons right now. It's Gene Simmons, I'm Paul Stanley.
Well, why don't you just introduce them? Just do something like... these are good videos, and I like them.
These are good videos.
This camera.
And I like them. Well, how come the red light's on over there? What's the matter? This is the first time you...
You're right.
Welcome to the Paul Stanley Show. You see, when you've done this a lot of times, you realize that there's a red light that's on top of the camera, and it usually tells you which camera is on. Right now,
get to the video.
Right now, we're going to a clip that we did from the album Animalized. This one came out in '84. It starts with me with my hands on fire, ends with me jumping through a hoop of fire. It's a real good song. It's called Heaven's on Fire, to be followed by Winger, which is a great band, which will be opening for us in the States in August.
On the Power Hour.
That's right. The Power Hour, we drink Pepsi, we drink Diet Pepsi.
Roll it.
The Much Music Power Hour. It's Paul Stanley here with my friend Dan Gallagher, of course. We got all kinds of stuff coming up. We got KISS questions. We got our Maniac fans outside. We got Little Caesar Chain of Fools. We got all kinds of stuff. Don't go away. It gets better.
Stanley, my special guest here on the Power Hour, and of course Gene Tunes couldn't make it, so I thought I'd don his former makeup. I just found it in the bag. Just put it on.
Every time I look at you, I feel like putting the makeup on.
There you go. He feels like putting the makeup on. But listen, how did you guys sweat through this stuff? It must have been like hell at the complexion.
Well, you know, you learn a certain amount of discipline not to touch your face, but you powder it, and when you powder it, it stays on. You can basically rub it all you want and it doesn't come off.
I gotta tell you, the first time I ever heard about the New York Dolls was like, I guess back in around 75, 74, 75, and you guys were doing a gig here in Toronto.
Right.
At a place...
Massey Hall.
Massey Hall.
And we also did one at Victory Theater, which isn't around there.
That's right. But that weekend, you opened for the New York Dolls at Massey Hall on the Friday night, and on the Sunday night, Bowie was playing the Diamond Dogs tour at O'Keefe Center, and I went to the Diamond Dogs tour and the show. But back then, it must have been like a great big decision to put this stuff on.
Well, it was a great decision to put it on. It was also a big decision to take it off.
Exactly.
Taking it off was a little bit tougher. I mean, for some people, or at least some people thought it would be real tough for us, because some people thought basically this was four Bozo the Clowns with a bunch of guitars. And I knew all along, we knew that we were basically a classic rock and roll band, and everything we did was always an addition to what music was doing. You know, we never did it in place of the music. So when we felt that we weren't going to be honest anymore by wearing the makeup, it was time to take it off, because if the fans didn't like what we were anymore, then we should really break up, because if we had nothing more to offer except platform boots and makeup, then we weren't much of a band. So we felt it was honest to say, hey, this isn't us anymore, and if you don't like what we're about, we understand it, and it's been great.
Speaking of classic rock and roll band, knowing that you're kind of a club guy, you probably go to clubs and check out bands and stuff. How does it make you feel walking into a club and seeing some young band do like Shout It Out Loud or rock?
Hey, what's even better than that? I go into arenas and hear bands doing it. So that, you know.
So is it a buzz?
Yeah, of course it is. It's great, you know. It's great to sell records. You know, somebody's going to sell 6 million records this year, but what are they going to sell in 6 years? What are they going to sell in 10 years? It's also great to, you know, be this year's favorite band, which I respect that, but to be around, you know, 15 years or so and see all the new bands and have them go, hey, this is what we started by listening to. You know, we're real proud of what we've done, and time tells everything.
Okay, we got some, we got speakers out in the street, and then we got a mic on the street. And Craig, who is this gentleman, please?
He'll introduce himself.
We can't hear them. Turn it up in the studio, please.
My name is Chuck McCrae.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing? Chuck.
A flashback
Jeff.
to 10 or 15 years ago.
Jeff.
Us in a dressing room.
He's going to change his name to Chuck.
Let's get a question, Jeff.
Yeah, Paul, with the, it's Hot in the Shade is really amazing. So I was wondering if you were going to do an Alive 3 after you do this tour.
We're planning to do some recording during this tour, but I think what's going to happen, I'm going to talk to you in this camera.
Use this one.
That way I can talk to everybody who's watching this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do some recording, but I don't think we're going to do a Live 3 till after the next studio album.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. We keep putting it off, which is good and bad. In a way, what happens is that it becomes such a big deal to us that every time we put it off, it becomes a little bit more monumental. It's something that we have to build up to. It's like whenever people put out sequels to movies, they're usually not as good as the original. Alive 2 was pretty much as good as Alive 1. We got to make sure that Alive 3 isn't Jaws 3D or something, you know, that nobody wants. So we're trying to be real careful.
Anybody else out there? You got a question? What's your name?
My name's Greg.
Okay, into the mic, Greg.
Greg, over the years, Paul, you've co-written with a lot of people. Is there anyone out there you haven't co-written yet that you really want to?
I haven't co-written with you yet. There's lots of good people around, so it's really just a matter of chemistry and the right time. I'll write with anybody. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
What was like writing with Michael Bolton?
Michael's a great guy. The funny thing about Michael is that everybody has this picture of Michael as this like crooner, and he's an amazing singer, but his roots, other than being, you know, R&B and black music, he was in a band with Bruce Kulick, and I mean, they were like a Bad Company kind of band. Michael used to have the mic in his hand and strut around. He's a rocker, so it's real funny, you know, when people say, you know, Paul, how did you write with Michael? Michael's, I don't want to break it to you, but Michael's got two sides to him.
He's like Jekyll and Hyde. Well, listen, this is a video network, so let's get back to some more videos. Talk to us about these ones.
Dan,
What?
we got a special question out there.
Oh, a special question?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a special question out there?
I want to know, you came here once before on a solo tour. Are you going to be doing that again ever?
Right now we're so busy with the band. That's a real special question.
Yeah, really? What was so special about that?
You interrupted.
Special guest out there.
Where is the special guest?
There's a special guest
Where's
out
our
there.
special guest?
See you later.
Oh, okay. Well, let's throw these videos, then maybe the special guest will be there? Cool. Let's talk about these videos.
Okay, let's talk about
Rock and roll all night.
let's talk about Rock and Roll All Night. Rock and Roll All Night.
It's like an anthem, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well, you know, the funny thing about anthems is that, you know, everybody wants to write an anthem, but most of them, you know, if you can write something spontaneous and something that's really heartfelt, it's really cool. When we wrote Rock and Roll All Night, we were stuck in Los Angeles. We didn't have enough money. Basically, what we were doing is we couldn't get to the next gig. We had no money to pay the hotel. We were eating the crust of bread off the roadies' plates, I swear, because we had to pay them so they wouldn't quit, but we had no money. Anyway, so we wrote the song Rock and Roll All Night, basically to kind of put in a nutshell what our fans were all about and what we're all about. And, you know, it hasn't changed. You know, you drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy.
Cool. Aretha Franklin song, redone by Little Caesar.
Right.
Tell us about Little Caesar. For the people who don't know Little Caesar, they're going to be joining you on the U.S. tour.
Yeah, Little Caesar's out with us with Slaughter right now in the U.S. And they are a walking advertisement for tattoos. I mean, these guys are absolutely covered with tattoos. They're really good. Good band. And this is their
What
first
about
single.
this young band Slaughter? What about them?
They're cool.
What are they like? You don't like Slaughter, sir?
Yeah, they're a cool guy, but is it true that KISS plays as loud as they do?
Who's this guy out here?
Look at the boys, take away, will you?
We should get him to come in here.
Let's bring him in.
Come in here.
Okay, in the meantime, we've got Chain of Fools and Rock and Roll Night on the Power Hour. Hit it. Slaughter is in the studio, too.
Doorbell.
Coming up now with more Paul Stanley from KISS on the Pepsi Power Hour.
And who are you?
Slaughter.
Of course. And we're all going to be back, right?
After this. From Slaughter, guys, thanks for dropping by.
Thanks for having us.
Paul, they're on our show now.
I'm surprised, you know? I mean, we're sitting here, just the two of us, and what could be better than the two of us? The four of us.
So how's it been going with the KISS tour?
Say how great we are.
Yeah,
Great.
It's really, really, really serious. A lot of sellouts, lots of explosions, lots of lasers, bigger than ever.
And this guy's
No, I'm talking-
kicking
No, I'm talking.
every night.
These guys are so fabulous that I'm thrilled to be here with
Let
them.
me get the money out. Yeah.
Money never changes hands.
Never.
Well, let's explain though. You were talking about the pyro and stuff like that, but we're not going to get that.
Yeah, but
On
we
the
don't,
show.
you know, we don't want to put a
blow the whole thing,
damper.
yeah.
You know, we don't want to put a damper on anything because it's going to be a great night. Unfortunately, you know, circumstances beyond our control. Somebody didn't want us to do pyro, and they wanted us to shorten our show. So, since we wanted to come up and play, we decided that we would do it nonetheless. And we were going to do a great show, and everybody's going to have a great time. These guys are worth every penny you're going to spend. We're not so bad ourselves.
To put it mildly.
It's going to be a really
How many dates have you guys done so far together on this tour?
30.
30 last night.
Done
Last night was 30.
shows
30th
already?
shows.
30th show last
Holy
night.
smokes.
We've been on 30 dates and we haven't slept together yet.
Yeah, we're getting close though, let me tell you. Our show's getting closer.
We're getting a second base.
Okay, so now these guys have been on like touring like forever. Like they've done lots of tours. And
They
you guys,
play forever too.
They
That's
play
right.
forever, which we'll see after this. Thank you. But have you guys learned anything from them tour-wise and what
Well,
to
I
do,
think
what
that
not
we
to
learned
do?
a lot from KISS even before we played with them. They've been around and influenced a lot of bands to go out and be rock bands and not, be the usual typical, run-of-the-mill type of band.
I mean, KISS
And,
has always had a bigger-than-life image. I mean, I think that just from what you see behind you right here.
And if we don't watch our diets, we get bigger than life.
Yes. But I mean, as far as the machinery goes and stuff, have you guys picked up any tips other than the performance?
I mean, they've toured forever and a day. I mean, they walk on stage, it's like an everyday normal occurrence to them to blow the daylights out of stages and for things to come out of nowhere.
I think
for them to
that
walk
there's
out.
things that you can't, that only by the experience that they have to get out and have a crowd in the palm of their hand when they walk
Let me
out.
tell you, these guys don't need any help. Whoever they've learned from, they've done a great job. I don't, if we had this much to do with it, we would be real pleased.
But
Because
I'm gonna-
obviously,
More money.
But by the same token, you've been around for the band's been out together for 15 odd years or whatever. And what have you learned from newer bands? Because I know you watch bands because you told me you go out and check out bands. What have you learned from Slaughter? That's a fair question.
that they usually make out with the
Up all night, sleep all day.
while we're on stage, they're stealing all the girls, By the time we come off stage, it's over. They're smart.
They figured it out. Now, I got to ask you this question about you got Jagger and Richards,
Right.
You've got Page and Plant, you've got Tyler and Perry, and you've got like Simmons and Stanley.
Right.
Do you think that the chemistry between two partners like that really helps with what you do as a band? Because you guys are together a lot. If you read the credits, it's the same thing. I think that really helps.
I think classic rock bands usually have to have at least two people who work in a way where the dynamics are balanced out, because it really comes down to two people where each one is great, but what they do together is better than what either one could do. I mean, all the bands that you cited had that kind of chemistry, and I think that all classic bands have to rely in some way upon that, and what builds around that only makes it bigger. But it's only as good as the chemistry between two of the key people, and then everything else just makes it that much greater.
How much of an importance is when KISS was with the makeup and the whole thing, with the pinball machines, the books, the lunch pails, the whole thing, how important is the business aspect of rock and roll?
Business is only important in the sense that if there's money coming in, it should be in your pocket instead of somebody screwing you. And the whole idea that, rock and roll people should be stupid means that when it's over, they wake up and wonder where all their money is, and there's somebody else laughing in a high-rise building. So if that's rock and roll, I don't want any part of it. So the idea of sitting behind a desk and cutting deals, I don't want any part of either. But I sure as hell don't want, when this is over, to have some fat cat walking around with my money. So that's about where that's at. But I'm in this for music, and that's the only reason I do it.
The music's important, and as we are a video network, we play videos. And do you have much say in the videos?
We have total say. We have total say in everything we do. We have a situation with the record company and with everybody else where we do things our way. I mean, that's what made us what we are. If somebody has a better idea, then they should do it, but not with us.
And so how did you guys do it? I know you guys produced the record, and so that's not very common with a young band doing the record.
I think what Paul's saying is very, very, very valid. Obviously, he's shown that it's worked. Like, no one else has made it work. And for us, in learning up the ropes, you get told what to do, and you have other people telling you what to do. And all of a sudden, when you're driving home, you don't even want to listen to your own stuff because you find it's not your own stuff. It's their stuff. And my attitude to them is, and I tell you what, if it's such a good song or if this is such a good guy to do it, tell him to make a record and he can do it. Right. And he's got, I mean, they wouldn't be playing 2.5 hours on the U.S. shows that they do if they didn't love music and love what they're doing.
And these guys wouldn't have a huge record unless they were doing, come on now.
Let's talk about the videos then. We're going to play Up All Night? Yeah. Let's play Up All Night. Tell us about Up All Night.
Up All Night is a party tune for everybody. Up All Night, Sleep All Day, which we live by. And you'll see
Soon to
right
be called
here.
Undress at Night, Don't Get Dressed During the Day.
And we're going to see Kiss Forever, correct? We'll see Forever. Tell us about the ballad. Another ballad, a power ballad.
I hate the word power ballad because usually it's like some kind of mush. It's a rock and roll song that's played real slow. And it's like, it's a cop-out. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. So put away the Marshall amplifiers and put your heart and soul and your whatever else you can put into an acoustic guitar and just get down and do it right. And that's what it's about. I mean, music should be honest. And that's an honest ballad as opposed to one of these cop-out power ballads, which I'm not really that crazy about.
Cool. You got it. Up All Night and Forever on the Power Hour.
Howdy, coming up, Kiss Forever, and we will all be back. Mark Slaughter, Paul Stanley, myself, and Dan Gallagher.
Back to the Paul Stanley Power Hour. Glad to have you here. Listen.
This is Paul Stanley. This is Paul Stanley. This is Paul Stanley.
And I'm Gene Simmons. Damn happy to be here. You know, when you put this stuff on, it makes you want to stick your tongue out. It's not about the white makeup. I don't know. Anyway, we got a contest. Contest. We have plenty of them. Much Music wants you to co-host the Power Hour with Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
To win, watch the Power Hour. And here's what you got to do. See, this is his book. It's called The Adventures of Lord Iffy Boat Race. We over here, we want you to write the first paragraph. We want you to write the first paragraph of his book. Do that and send it to co-host with Bruce. Care Much Music, and you'll win a trip here to co-host, airfare, cash, and the whole deal. Co-host with Bruce, care of the Pepsi Power Hour. Much Music, 299 Queen Street West, Toronto, Ontario, M5V 2Z5. And if you do that, do it today, don't delay. Secondary prizes include Tattooed Millionaire CDs and, of course, the book, Lord Iffy Boat Race, The Adventures Thereof. So you guys actually, so do that now and do it often. Thanks very much, guys.
One book, one
Cool.
CD.
Thank you very much. Put it back here. You guys toured with Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how was that?
Great experience.
Good guy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
good guys. Been on the road forever.
We had him on the show a little while ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and summing up, because we don't have much time.
Oh, we can stay.
Okay, cool.
We're here.
Stay.
We're here. We're not going.
We're
We're going to
Give
push the
me-
rap thing backwards.
Give me a mop. Let's start washing my face. You guys been around. We've established everything. What is left for Paul Stanley and Kiss to do?
More. We want to go in the studio when the tour's done and do really the best album we've done. We're going to try to do an album that tops Destroyer. So we're going to spend a lot of time and really go in and go for something bigger. You know, every time you climb a mountain, you look and there's a bigger one next to you. So there's lots of mountains around. We want to climb.
Now, you know, you've done this for so long now, and you write great songs, you perform. But is there an extra magic that kind of happens when you step on that stage in front of
There's nothing that can compete. You can be as intellectual as you want. You can go in the studio and make records, but there's nothing that can compete with the electricity that fans give you. And when you have that kind of relationship that you can build and that we've built, everything that they give us, we try to give them back more. And that kind of flow of energy that goes back and forth can be pretty heavy-duty stuff. So there's nothing that can compete with that.
So you're on the bill. Let's start from down here. The bill is Whitesnake, Kiss, Slaughter, Faster Pussycat. That's the bill here in Toronto. Now, for the people who are going to show up, we're not going to get the Sphinx, we're not going to get the whole deal, but we're going to get an hour and a half of ass-kicking rock and roll.
You know, these guys are gonna kick everybody's butt.
Your behinds will be turned this way.
Yeah.
And by the time we get on, your butts will already be swollen from these guys.
When the swelling wears down, the parking lot is that way.
Well, the reason we put the makeup on today, because this next video, the Rise to It video, and it said with you guys putting it on.
I thought that was you in the video.
It was at one point, but Gene got mad, and you know how that is. And what happened is, so it made me want to put this on and put the makeup on. I've had fun wearing it, but I mean, it is hot under this makeup. Talk to us about the Rise to It video and how that came about with the makeup and the whole thing.
Well, basically what we wanted to do with Rise to It was we wanted to give fans a chance to see what it was like during the 70s when we would be in the dressing room when we were first starting out, and we were thinking, can the critics kill us off? Can we go ahead? Can we take the makeup off at some point? And we would have these kind of discussions in these little dressing rooms. And I think what we wanted fans to realize is that KISS today is the same as KISS yesterday, and it's always been a continuation. Nothing really changes, and the reason we can do what we want today is because the makeup was important, but it was only a side of what we were doing. You know, you can have a great looking car, you can have a Ferrari, but if the engine ain't in place, you ain't gonna win the race. And so far we've been winning a couple of races, so we got the chrome, we got the paint, we got the engine.
Now, while we get the cameras rolling, promise us you'll come back with like a KISS headline, 100%, 2.5 hours.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you'll do more than Toronto.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a great time in Montreal, Quebec. You know, every place has been so great to us. I mean, I still think about Sudbury. I still think about Saskatoon. I still think about Moncton.
You've done it all. Cool. Listen, thank you guys. Good show tomorrow night. And thank you, Paul. I hope Gene's feeling better.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's at the hotel right now going, I should have gone down and got Paul to keep his mouth shut.
Introduce the last video before we go out, and thank you guys very much for being here.
This needs no introduction. This is Rise to It, and tomorrow night we will all rise to it.
Take it away.
I saw that review today. Some of those people don't think this is going to last.